Yeah, you're absolutely right, Michael Dean. I've done a few videos to talk about the levels of awareness. You know, what I was aware of when I was a small child, my identity, my core identity, knowing my core encryption code identity, the water code, right? Knowing the unique essence that I am as a spirit, a living spirit, knowing who I truly am is knowing the core unique identity encryption code of who I am because I'm an original artist, which is organic water code, and why we're here. So I know why we're all here. I've always known that. Okay. Um, but I just went out to work with the sun. Tiwa. Nahevusata. Umat, umat, umat. So everything sort of goes pink. And it's just beautiful to experience that. And so I was reminded, like a rewind on a strip, the tape delays between immediate manifestation, which means the organic intention, the first intention, the eternal intention is eternal, absolute, pure love, the inner engine, the internal engine, the internal core of the Eka core, the true still point of a true vacuum, because that's what I experience. So I'm always in service. I serve the one, the eternal one, the silver and gold made of Duché, which is perfect balance, which is the still point of a true vacuum. So the way that I was translating this as a child, okay, is how much of those codes, which represent an artificial state of awareness, and then the awareness that I am that is not running those codes. And that is a timing factor in the speed in which we're recoding our templates to remember the original 12 spheres template. And that is actually simply translated when I was a child, right, as food density networks or AI density networks as it relates to the speed at which we're recoding over time-space vectors and the time that it takes to do that. So we're experiencing less and less of what it is, and that means that our state of awareness is going up. So that means we're running less codes that represent the 66 and 2/3 codes, which means the artificial light state of awareness codes. So the more codes that are being recoded, which are the original organic water code, protoplasm, the original one, the silver and gold mated one, is the speed at which we're recovering our state of consciousness, the 12 spheres, to remember who we are, the eternal life template. So this had everything to do with time, space, speed as the frequency of the sequence, so that the sequences are firing right on time, which is the tempo, the 15D, right? Having a built-in voltage regulator. So we're experiencing perfect balance, which is the still point. So I measured myself, particularly when I was a child, of how much I'm being held captive to those codes that represent an anxiety-driven torture chamber program, which is chasing electrons, so that I had a false sense of security of consciousness, which means my consciousness was experiencing a false sense, a false sensing. I'm experiencing a false light sensor of its awareness, which is driven by bigger and bigger numbers. So the bigger the number in the visual display, I feel better. I feel better now because that number is bigger, because I'm consuming more that is represented by the numbers, that is represented by the sentient life form numbers. So I'm consuming more sentient life in order to feel better, because the numbers are bigger. And that is a false vacuum because that's how it operates. Which means when I'm a child, I already knew I'm not supposed to have to consume the electrical energy of another sentient life form in order to experience what I am, which is what love is. And that's where letting go. Just let it go. I've already forgiven all of them. That's why I cried for 4 days, why it was 4 cycles, how that relates in the torque speed differential between 15 degrees, the 15 degrees, 15D. That's why it's not a mathematical coincidence. The degrees, when you get into angles of light, experiencing being one with the silver and gold mated one, which is perfect timing, which is perfect frequency sequence timing, because it fires right on time, which means there's no error in the codes, in the original codes, in the original organic water code of the 12 spheres, the original template, the Templar security teams, the Guardian security teams of the 12 spheres. Because it fires exactly as was originally intended to fire, right on time. Because the intention is pure. Because the intention of the Creator is pure internal, as an internal engine. So the engine has an encryption code, like solar-coded biometric identities, as that relates to haploid types, the biovoltage factor, right? Between the coldest cold and the hottest hot become what? The silver and gold mated one. So the silver and gold mated one does not experience a parasite. So I immediately knew as a child I'm not supposed to experience what that is. It is what that is. That is a parasite. So that means the speed at which we're getting rid of what? The infection. The fractal light mind virus infection, which is the mental field, because the mental field is sick. Or if you will, the intelligence side of how we communicate with each other versus, if you will, the creative quotient potential, the electrical potential speed of creating, manifesting into creation, because there is no tape delay. It's immediate. As soon as we feel it, we see it, which is the inner core, which is the inner echo core of the silver and gold mated one. So we're manifesting what it is we're experiencing by virtue of what we feel, which is a natural sensor. And a natural sensor is a natural spiral, which is a crystal spiral, the one we're with, the one we run. So this is where we can measure by how much we're letting go of and leaving alone and not harvesting, or if you will, using more of what we're held captive to, that we're thus consuming in us now in order to experience a future memory, so that we're not parasiting off of other sentient life forms in order to acquire the energy that is represented by what they are in order to experience what we are. The Breatharian form, breathing pure, internal, eternal, absolute love energy as our manifestation engine, the inner engine of creation. The accretion level potential, the natural sensing potential of a full Rasha body, avatar. The natural 15D spiral, as it was originally intended by the original creator, the eternal engine of the ancient one, the one we serve, the silver and gold mated one. That's who we are. That's who we serve. So the mathematical firing order is perfect, which is perfect, structural, sound, and light, spiritual, immunity, structural integrity. That means that the visual mathematics, the structural integrity of that design is a grand, perfect design because it is firing, our codes are firing exactly right on time, which is our breathing tempo, which means our nerves are not experiencing any separation anxiety, so that our nerves are totally calm, totally relaxed, experiencing being totally loved. That's 100%. 100% is getting rid of 100% of those codes so that we experience the pure still point of a true vacuum. So we're no longer held captive by the other codes, the implosion codes, the red pulse wave codes, and the timing factor, the speed factor in which we're recoding our original template, which is recoding, which is recalibrating, a cosmic level reset. That's why we're here. Have a beautiful day, night, or evening where you happen to be.